Well, let's see, Ben. First, it's glad to see you back in form and not sick. I hope Maria gets well soon. Um, as for your question, down to the nitty gritty of it, uh, what is acceptable in a relationship, or how much is too much for internet gaming and whatnot? Well, I'll tell you this from my perspective as a once married man. Um, when I was married, my wife didn't really approve of me playing video games more than anything else. If anything, I wanted at least a good 5 hours of playing so I could get it out of my system. She didn't. So we eventually came down to a negotiation where there was uh, a general agreement on the subject where I would be allowed to play 3 to 4 times a week for 3 hours. That would be acceptable for her, and she wouldn't have any issues. Well, she had issues, always, and it just didn't work in any way, shape, or form. And it came to the point that, for me, anyways, that playing video games or doing anything interesting was exactly like cooking a nice meal and then having something knock the wind and interest out of it and making it taste like ash. Well, that's exactly what happened for me for video games. But personally, I'd say an acceptable length of time. It depends. Do you have free time, and is there anything else that you can that needs to be done? A. B. If it doesn't need to be done, is it something that can be done, such as taking a proactive decision on something that needs to be done that's not immediate or urgent? Get it out of the way. If A and B don't exist, then C, gaming, internet, would be something you could put in to fill the time. If if uh, Maria's not around in your case, or if Maria's busy doing something else, or if you've already spent some time with Maria. There is such a thing as having each other's lives inside a relationship, and the biggest issue is always to try and have independence from one another while maintaining a relationship. By independence, I don't mean don't bother me anymore. By independence, I mean, well, he's busy doing that, I can do this. Or while she's busy doing that, I'm doing this. And there shouldn't be any threats thrown out in the relationship. I don't think that's your issue with you and Maria, especially because now she has a Wii, you've got your Xbox, so you guys can just have some common time that you can actually sit down and play Wii. Or, well, I don't think Maria plays first person shooters, but you can always play the Wii. And that would be one way of actually having a general agreement. But since you're a big first person shooter player, um, you'd have to get her interested in the first person shooter. And there are some interesting ones on the Wii. Um, some that you can actually play together. Ghost Squadron, I think, is one of them. It's quite interesting. But in regards to the whole back end subject of this, where once you're in a relationship, married or unmarried, long term, short term, middle term, doesn't matter how long you're in a relationship, I can tell you this by experience. If you don't put certain agreements already on the table where both of you look at them and say, okay, this is me, this is what I do, this is how I do it, and this is you, this is what you do, this is how you do it. Now, this won't change. Certain things will never change from a person. I'm not talking about any addictions, I'm not talking about anything but possible habits and items that we all enjoy doing. In my case, at the time, with the computer, I wasn't playing video games because, well, I just didn't have the time, and I didn't want to spend any time. In fact, I think in the first 5 years of my marriage, I played maybe 6 hours of video games. That's not counting the time that we were gone to Mexico visiting the family, and I actually did an all-nighter with her sister's friends playing. So, as you can see, it's not an easy answer for a question that has unfortunate sides, byways, and subtleties that are relevant to a relationship. But all in all, 2 hours every second day or every third day shouldn't be anything. The total amount of hours that should not be spent on your game console, except if you're sick or off and have nothing else, or it's just piss poor raining outside. I mean, everything can happen. If that happens, well, you can put yourself a limit of 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week. I don't know how it is for you in regards to actually playing Xbox Live with Call of Duty, because I've never experienced it myself, at least not online. And actually, I haven't experienced the game, period, because I haven't had a chance to play it. So, that's it in a nutshell. I hope you're doing great, and say hi to Maria for me, and have a nice one. See ya.